Hey guys, welcome to Pop Recap. I'm Alex.
I'm Sean.
And we're going to be talking about the season finale of Game of Thrones Season 7, The Dragon and the Wolf. So, a lot happened. That was a long episode, but once again, didn't feel long.
No, it flew by just like the last one did.
Yeah, it really did. There's so many things that didn't wrap up, but also did, and I still have kind of mixed feelings about it. I don't know. Did you like the episode?
I loved the episode. I mean, I don't want to give away what my score is, but let's say it's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Of the series.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's go through and just sort of talk everything through because we did get a little bit of somewhat new information. Something happened that I'm really happy about. Something happened that I'm not really happy about. I'm sure you guys know what that is.
Some things happens that I am happy about that I predicted that happened. So
the internet's divided. Yeah, Sean did a great job predicting. Actually, a lot of my friends predicted a lot of things that I didn't think were going to happen. So I'll take that one. I'm wrong. Okay, I'm wrong. That's what you want to hear. What you want to hear, right?
No, I was right. You don't have to be wrong. A lot of stuff I was right, so it's fine.
All right. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, so we opened the episode with Grey Worm. And they're waiting. The Unsullied are sort of waiting, posted outside of King's Landing, and the Dothraki run in, and
took them a while to
Jaime's
get there.
like, yeah, it took him a while to get there, but Jaime's just like, this isn't good, and he and Bronn have a little conversation about dickless men, the Unsullied, which is a little funny considering Theon's arc.
Yeah.
But Jaime has the great line, maybe it's all cocks in the end. And that would be my utopia.
I don't know about that for me, but he's kind of right in this, because in that world, I mean, it's like what Bronn said. Like, if you give people money, especially soldiers like that, they're just going to spend it on women. And if you don't have a cock, what are you going to do with it? So it's like...
Well, funny enough, if you think about it, it's actually all the powerful women that are like conspiring now and sort of are in charge. So it's kind of funny. Jaime's like, oh, it's all cocks in the end. It's like, no.
Well, he means for guys. Because like, that's kind of what motivates
Yeah, I
them.
sort of relegated them to their very basic level wants and needs. So
I mean, what else is there? There's no TV in Westeros, so what are they gonna do?
Right, because when there's no TV, I mean,
they don't have HBO.
They don't have HBO.
They don't have Game of Thrones.
What if they're watching a show about us? Whoa! I think I just blew my own mind. But that's probably a really boring show. Sorry.
That's that whole opening scene just shows us and shows Jaime and Bronn like they got no chance. If they were to march, they would have been done.
Yes.
Like they were preparing, but it's just like you could do all the preparing you want. The Unsullied were there, and then once the Dothraki just showed up on their horses like that, if they wanted to take the castle, they could.
Yeah,
Easy.
And Bronn says, we're about to be the downtrodden.
Yeah.
So it's pretty clear that everyone knows, except Cersei, that they don't stand a chance. So
I know she's the
anyway, so we get that scene. So we jump right into it. I thought maybe that would be the final scene is when everybody congeals in King's Landing, but we got that right away. So then we cut to
spent a long time there too.
Yeah, we cut to the ship and. Or is it the ship, or maybe he's already... Yeah, I think that he's on the ship, and the Hound goes down and just decides he wants to taunt the White Walker again. He's just like... He loves to taunt them. He's like throwing rocks at him.
I don't think he was...
the box.
I don't think he was taunting. I was just doing like, hey, we went through all that crap. I want to make sure this thing is still alive when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any surprises. Make sure he's still in there. He's still kicking.
Yeah, and he's like, let me out of here. I'm sure that's what he was saying.
Yeah, and then Jon had the line of like, how many people live here? And Tyrion's like, over 1 million. It's like, oh, 1 million people live in that tiny little spot. It's like, it's almost like the island of Manhattan. Like people, just things on top of each other.
Yeah, sounds miserable.
Well, but like Tyrion said, like you get the most work in the city, so that's why people want to navigate there. So it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But we then get another like walk and talk, like kind of like we did in the last episode, North of the Wall, where everybody's all kind of together. It's still so weird to me to see all these characters in the same place, and it just kind of almost feels like fan fiction again, Yeah. So we get this little walk and talk, and the Hound sees Brienne and like he's like, I thought you were dead. Like,
that look
almost.
that she gave like.
Great.
What?
She's good at that.
She's like one of the best character like in the show.
She's good at
of you can just read what she's saying with just her face without no dialogue because you can see like what the fuck. I thought you were dead just by her face. Like, I thought I killed you.
It was such a silly little moment because they're just walking together and it's like, thought I killed you. No, almost. And then they became buddies. And then they're like, how's Arya? Oh, she's good. She's a warrior now. Yeah. And the Hound's like, oh, that's great. Like two little proud parents, or big proud parents, I guess. But
they kind of
they smile, and I'm just like,
they both kind of had like a stamp on her a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
absolutely. And what's the Hound? And Arya had a really love-hate kind of thing, and that was great. I love their little buddy comedy relationship there.
I like for them to run into each other again.
Yeah,
it's probably gonna happen.
I hope so.
Yeah,
because Arya's sort of job is done. Sort of up there. So she's gonna try to make her way south and finish that last name off of her list.
Well, that remains to be seen. I don't know if she's gonna go. We'll see. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if she does head down there, but I think considering how everybody's heading up there, they might have an interaction before she heads down.
Oh, yeah, could be. Yeah. Maybe they'll cross paths. So then, same thing, walk and talk. We get Tyrion and Bronn talking, and Bronn's like, oh, I'm just looking out for myself,
He's like, hey, if whatever they're paying, I'll double, you come over on this side, which is pretty much the winning side, that.
Yeah, and again, they have this little, friendship moment. It's like, I missed you. I missed you too. I didn't say that, but
have a little bromance,
Good to see you. Yeah, bro. Hey, bro. Good to see you, bro.
The only thing that was missing was them drinking wine because that's usually what they were used to do. So that's the only thing in their bromance that was missing. But plus they haven't seen each other in years, pretty much. So
yeah,
But again, it's for me. It's like these walk-in talks are really good to build up to what we actually got. That scene at Dragon Pit is just like,
oh my gosh, yeah,
it's incredible.
So all the teams come together, right?
Yes.
The North team and the South team, and they're all walking into the Dragon Pit, and then it's like a staring contest. Basically, they're all just kind of like looking at each other. Like the Hound and the Mountain are looking at each other, and Bran and Jaime are looking at each other, and Cersei and Tyrion are looking at each other, and everyone's just like looking all around.
And they're like, "Well, where's Daenerys? I thought she sailed it. She didn't sail in with you." And he's like, "No."
I'm like, yeah. So did anybody else notice that Bronn leaves with Pod in a really weirdly emphasized way? I'm like, he's like, all right, Pod, let's go. And then they walk away.
We're going to go drink.
And they kind of there's a shot of Brienne and she allows it. And then they go and it's kind of like, I don't know why they spent so much time on it, but the reason for that is because the actress who played Cersei and the actor who plays Bronn used to date in real life. And it did not end well. And so they both had written into their contracts that they could not be on set together.
Really?
Yes. So the writers are just like, well, I guess we gotta find a way for Bronn to leave so that they don't have to be in the same place at the same time.
Interesting.
I mean, they still could have, movie magic, they could have shot it in such a way that Bronn still could have been there, and, the actress who plays Cersei isn't. But yeah, so they just decided to have him, peace out.
Well, but even still, what is Bronn really going to do there?
No, well, which is why I'm like, well, just don't even have him there at all. Don't even build this exit in for him. If he just wasn't there, I wouldn't have questioned it.
No, but then we wouldn't have had Bronn and Tyrion talking.
No, you could have pieced out before that though, and be like, all right, well, have fun. But they made it all the way there, and then he's like, okay, now I'm leaving. It was really weird and really awkward. And
it just
weird
was
writing.
It was just okay, they're gonna have a drink. Okay.
Oh, really? I thought it was weird.
Well, I wouldn't say weird, but it's just okay, I guess you can have a drink. But the fact is, they never came back. That was some drink. But
I thought, yeah, because there was so much emphasis on it. I thought something bad was gonna. I'm like, is this?
Yeah, I was like,
I don't know.
Are we gonna come back to them later? But I was like, we never did. So I was like, wow.
But anyway, well, that's the reason. The reason is because they can't be in the same.
They should have a web series about what happened to them when they went to that drink and to tie us over.
Yes, another little buddy comedy. No, definitely do. Yeah, that's the spinoff. That's the spinoff.
No, God no.
Okay, so we get the Hound and the Mountain together again. And this is another moment we've been waiting for. It's not quite the Clegane Bowl that we've been waiting for. And that I was right about, that we didn't get that yet. I think a lot of people were saying that was going to happen. But no, they're going to save that. And he said something really interesting. The Hound comes right up to his brother and says, he says, that's not how you're going to go. You know who's coming for you.
Yeah.
You've always known. And, you know, at first you think like, oh, it's the Hound. He's going to kill him. But there's some kind of weighted context in there almost. And I'm almost thinking like now that he can maybe speak to the Lord of Light, like maybe that's part of the thing. Like he's going to get what's coming to him. And the Hound knows this.
Or I think maybe after you push him into the fire, like, you know, like no one can kill you. I'm going to kill you.
Well, he could have said that.
Well, I know, but
he's not one to be poetic. You know what I mean?
But it kind of sounds cooler if he just says, you know who's coming.
It does sound cooler, but he's
know.
not one to be poetic. So, which is why I just kind of, you know, I could be wrong, but the wheels are turning a little bit, and I'm just thinking like maybe there's a little bit of a Lord of Light context in there too. So, because you know we were talking about last episode how I was thinking that the Hound is going to wield fire, and that's how he's going to defeat his brother.
Maybe.
Because it would just come full circle. I mean, that would be perfect. That would be a beautiful, well tied up little gift for me.
Well, we'll have to wait a while to see that. But I'm curious what you thought about Dany's entrance. So for me, I think she's doing the exact same thing she did to Jon when she came back from the battle. She's like, I'm going to make an entrance and I'm going to see how people react to it.
Well,
because she could easily.
Of course, she wants to intimidate Cersei.
Oh yeah,
of course.
And it worked because.
I don't know. Cersei's kind of not really impressed.
Well, I think she's hiding it really well.
Cool.
She's like,
cool.
There's 2 dragons there.
What, 2? Not 3 though.
Well,
and she's like, well, there were only 2, not 3. You know.
Well, that's just her BS and like, holy shit, there's 2 goddamn dragons there, and you know, Drogon made it like, hey, you know, I could kill all of you right now if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
There's one word and you're all dead, literally.
Yeah.
So
I think Cersei's doesn't really see things clearly sometimes, and I'm not sure that she understands.
No, but
the threat
I just love that like she made an entrance and she's like, you know, we've been waiting for you for some time.
Just a couple minutes with Cersei.
Wow.
Oh, she's so good. I really love Cersei. I hope she makes it to the end of the series because she's one of my favorite characters.
I wouldn't put money on that if I were you. But just the whole back and forth there of just like you said, all the angles that because they said they were in shooting there for days, so all the angles that they had to get from like you look
all the reaction shots.
Yeah, absolutely. So and we spent a lot of time there, and rightfully so.
Well, there was a lot of tension there. It's, you know, so they had to, and this is the first time this has really happened. The first time Tyrion and Cersei have really been together, and so no one knew what to expect. So they really wanted to build that suspense and that tension.
And it's kind of like they all sat down. They're like, now what? Like, what do we do? Like, do you talk? I don't know. And then Tyrion gets up and he starts talking, and
Euron is a piece of shit. Euron, what an insane
He's
guy.
a scoundrel.
He just jumps up. You're like, you know, it's like, hello, I'm the queen. You sit back down. You sit down or leave. You know?
Yeah.
He's like, we kill your kind in the Iron Islands. And Tyrion's like, okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I've heard. Really? Yeah. I've heard it all before. Thanks, dude.
Not his first rodeo when it comes to dwarf jokes, but also he, you know, tell oh God, what's his name? The little reek.
Oh, Theon.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I got your sister, you know, bend knee to me, or she's dead.
So, you know, I guess the purpose for that is to remind us that Euron is still a threat and that he's still a bit of a loose cannon. Like, he just stands up without being called upon and just starts interrogating, you know, the guests. Mm-hmm. So that he's still going to play a big part, I think, in season 7.
Yeah, for sure.
So then
season 8, you mean?
8, yeah.
Yeah.
8.
Yeah.
8.
Because we're in 7.
Jeez, you're right. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then Tyrion says, we brought you something, and the Hound goes down to get it, and it's the guy in the box. And there's a moment there's a few moments where we're not sure if he's still in there.
Or
I
he's
think maybe
alive.
he was taking a nap, or, you know, just kind of
because
biding his time.
you know, the Hound does it really slowly, just for dramatic reasons. Like slowly unlatches it,
Cersei's like,
and then you open it up, and then nothing happens, and Cersei's like, "What the? You guys messing around again? This is just stories again." And then he kicks it over, and he pops out.
That was great. That was a really
awesome.
good scene. Like, Cersei looked terrified.
But did you notice that no one did anything? Like the Hound didn't do anything.
Jamie did.
Well,
Jamie came. Well, because they had chains. Like he was holding the chain.
Well, yeah, but it got close enough where.
Well, that was the point.
Yeah.
That was the point, to scare the shit out of her.
Oh, and it worked.
And it worked.
Yeah.
So, the guy, he probably just wanted. He's probably thirsty. You know, he's probably like, "Give me some water," but in this crate. But no one speaks White Walker, so they couldn't help him. The poor guy.
Yeah, that was his problem. Yeah,
for sure. Who knows? So there's sort of this. You're on fakes. This exit. Like, I'm going back to the Iron Islands.
He's like, can they swim? No.
Good.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Peace.
So sort of fakes this exit. Cersei talks about maybe helping them if Jon bends the knee to her.
Well, first Jon gives an explanation of how this is how you kill a.
Yeah, he gives a PowerPoint presentation
basically
on how to kill a White Walker.
Step A: you can use Valyrian steel.
You could use
fire. Or you can burn them.
Yeah.
Or dragon glass.
Yes.
Whichever one is available to you.
Applause. Yeah. So that, I don't know. Yeah, that was kind of.
I don't know why he just said it like you can.
With PowerPoint.
Burn them.
I liked it. Nice demonstration, Jon. You nailed it.
You can use dragon glass.
Okay, yeah. So then afterwards, Jon reveals that he cannot bend the knee to Cersei because it has already bent. Yes.
He cannot serve two queens.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh, Jon, honest Jon, what are you doing, buddy?"
Well, Dany was all like, "Ooh, really?"
Yeah, she's like, "Thanks, but why did you do that?"
She was like,
Thanks, but no thanks. I wish you would not have done that."
Well, I'm glad that you did do that, but I wish you would have not mentioned it.
Yeah, so, but Jon has a good point. It's like, you can't just keep building on lies because then words don't mean anything anymore. And honest Jon, such a trooper, such a good guy. So Brienne then chases after Jaime.
Yeah.
And comes up to Jaime and says, fuck loyalty. And Jaime's like, what?
Yeah, like what do you want? Loyalty? Like what do you want me to say to her? Like she had her terms, and Jon was like, I can't do that. She's like, well, I'm leaving the bargaining table.
I don't know why Jaime was being so icy towards her. Like,
because the lines are kind of really even, are just nicely drawn. Like we're both on different sides. Like he said to her, it's nice to see you, but probably the next time we see each other, we're going to be on the battlefield on different sides. He seemed a little
butthurt about that. He's like, I'll see you across the battlefield.
Well, because he knows he just saw the dead, and she's like, well, let's leave, and he didn't want to leave. He wants to figure out we got to figure out how to stop this, and she's just like, well, I'm not getting what I want. I'm out. So, of course, he's a little butthurt. He's like, we should stay and negotiate. But, again, his loyalty, which will come into play later on, he's loyal to Cersei. So, if she wants to leave, he's leaving, even though he doesn't want to. So, that's why he's a little butthurt. He's like, I want to help you guys, but,
Well, hopefully Brienne's words did kind of soak in, or at least they will over the fuck loyalty thing.
Well, yeah,
that'll soak in a little bit more in season 8. So then Tyrion comes up with a brilliant plan. He's like, I got to talk to my sister.
Yeah,
and that was such an amazing scene. Oh man, because we haven't seen that in a while, and there's been a hit out for Tyrion for seasons since season 4, right?
Yeah. And then basically the mountain just lurking behind him, like anytime he could just lopped his head off.
That was such a good scene. They haven't had a one-on-one like that
in a long time.
In a very long time. And Cersei has the chance to kill him. Tyrion asks for it. He says, do it now. And you could see she wants to so bad, but she doesn't do it. She doesn't do it because 2 reasons. One reason for sure is, she knows she's smarter than that, and she knows that it would wage the war
that's basically an act of war right then. Yeah.
But, they say Cersei loves her children, but Cersei also loves her family. And I think as much as she hates Tyrion, I think, there's part of her that's like, he's a Lannister. I can't kill him.
Yeah, which we'll see again later.
Yeah. As much as they despise each other, I think they both recognize that they're really all they have left.
And plus, also, because like he said, even though he did kill their dad, he did care about her kids.
The kids, yeah.
Yeah. And she knows
that got through, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, there's some people saying that, they have they're brokering a little deal between the two of them, which I kind of don't agree with.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I don't think so.
Ooh,
I don't think so.
maybe. Well, we end the scene with Tyrion saying, "You're pregnant," and there's a pregnant pause. Get it? Pregnant pause from Cersei.
Well, I think that's her, and which we'll find out later. I think her wanting him to know that. So to think, because if she would have just came out and said, you know what, I changed my mind, I will help you, without Tyrion kind of convincing her, you wouldn't trust her. You're like, you just come out on your own saying that. Yeah, I can't trust you. But her playing the fact that, yes, I'm here for my family, and I don't care about the world. I just care about my family.
I don't think she was doing that on purpose.
Oh, I think she was.
I don't think she was doing that on purpose.
Because Tyrion, it has to play out that Tyrion convinced her. Otherwise, why would you believe anything she said?
Honestly, I think she's scared of the threat north. But I also think that, and I think she was going to help them if Jon bent, but she's so stubborn. That's what she wanted, and she didn't get it. So she's like, fine, okay, I wasn't going to help you anyway. So now she has to come up with this whole plot. I think initially she was scared, and
technically she had that plot anyway. Like, she was, like, we'll find out later that she was planning things before that meeting. So I think
for Jon to bend the knee, but I guess she assumed that he would.
Yeah.
And then it didn't go to plan, and but I think she actually is scared, and I don't think she was trying to play
to a degree.
Tyrion. I think she.
Oh, I think she did.
I don't think so. So then she's like, "Okay, call the banners. I'll help you out." And I'm thinking like, this is really weird. Like, this is not the way I thought this was gonna go. And of course, thank God she was duping them, because I'm like, that would have been really out of character for her to just agree like that.
Well, but the way she put it, it was kind of in character, because she's like, yeah, I'll help you.
Yeah. But remember this.
But they remember that, like, I'm doing this with, I'm not sure how this is going to turn out for us. Yeah. I'm just doing this for the greater good. So even though it's kind of out of character for kind of to submit a little bit, the way she did it from a place of strength.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I changed my mind. I'll help you guys. But remember this down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, there's also I think she's sort of losing it a little bit. Like, she's losing her grasp on, certainly now she doesn't really know what to do, because she's lost Jaime, which we'll talk about in a second. But there's a really interesting framing in the room with Tyrion when she's talking to him, and she's short-sighted, which means that she's on the side of the frame and looking towards the side that's closer to the end of the frame instead of looking towards the blank space. And the blank space was very dark next to her, and that was clearly a lighting choice. And it just sort of like made her look very alone, And
she kind of is.
Yeah, and I thought that was really nice, and it just sort of emphasizes where she's coming from. It was also a little ominous, just the fact that it was like very dark. It was lit very dark, and she's kind of just like on the edge. It was very uncomfortable. So, kudos to the director and the DP on that.
You do kind of like, I think they did do it that way to kind of make you feel a little bit of sympathy for her. I mean, I don't, but because
she can be relatable from time to time.
Because she is kind of pushing everybody away, as much as Tyrion is trying to, send out an olive branch. She's
too proud.
She's pushing out. Yeah, she really is.
She's too proud. She would never admit
pushing Jaime away. She's pushing a lot of people away.
Forget apologizing. She can't even. I don't even know if she can see. She sees what she wants to see. Like, you're like, oh, you killed my mother. Like, you actively killed my mother on purpose. And it's like, okay, no, he's a baby. She died in child. She sees what she wants to see and believes what she wants to believe.
Yeah, I mean, and seeing the dead and the dragon didn't sway her as much as it swayed everybody else. She's like, yeah, I acknowledge that they exist now. I still don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still going to be, like, going to keep going down the path I've gone on, except for everybody else, once they've seen one or both things, they have changed course. She did not. She's the only one that hasn't.
Oh, Cersei. Love to hate her. Let's jump up to Winterfell, because we have more Cersei stuff to talk about later. Yeah. But let's go to Winterfell now, where we see Sansa and Peter having a little discussion about Arya and what to do with Arya. And it's very clear that Peter is feeding her these lines. He says the thing about, I like to play a game, and I like to figure out what the worst case scenario is and what the worst possible thing that could happen is, and then assume the worst. And he's obviously feeding Sansa these lines like, why did Arya come back to Winterfell? Huh? Oh, to kill you. Oh yeah, and why would she want to do that? And I think there's a slow realization process in Sansa at that moment, when she realizes that Peter is playing her.
Yeah.
And that, I think that's when it snaps, because she says, yeah, Arya would want to be the Lady of Winterfell. And that doesn't ring right to Sansa. Like, Sansa's like, no, she doesn't want to be the Lady of Winterfell. Why would Arya want to be the Lady of Winterfell? And I think that's when it hits her. Oh shit, Peter's trying to. Oh my god, it all becomes clear.
Well, because I think Peter, like, and I've been saying this for the entire season, he's just been like slowly giving her. I mean, he's been doing it since they met, but he's been giving her insight in how he thinks. And
well,
like,
she learned from the best.
Well, yeah. So in his mind, he's thinking like, I'm just going to show her how this game works, and how my brain works, and then that's going to help me manipulate her and push her into the ways that I want to push her. But I think he's been getting a little bit more and more aggressive with that, because he pretty much said in this episode, we need to kill this girl. Like, you don't know what she's gonna do. I don't know what she's gonna do. Mm-hmm. Brienne's gone, so she's not in the cards. He pretty much just said, let's kill her.
Yeah.
And that was very, very forward. And he's like, well, let's play this game now, because this is how I do. What is the worst case scenario if I do this or I do that? And I do agree with you. It is kind of like, as she's slowly playing this game with him, she's realizing, no, we're not really talking about Arya anymore. I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is kind of how she kind of slowly comes around to like, this guy is like, I never should have trusted him in the first place, but I keep him around for
his army.
For his army.
But yeah, because people were wondering after last episode whether or not Arya, like, they were in cahoots, whether they already knew. I feel like maybe Arya already had a sense of it.
Yes.
Then went to Bran and said, hey, do you know anything about this guy? Can you tell Sansa anything about this guy?
Yeah.
And then they all kind of got together. Once it snapped for her, it's like, okay.
I think
they had a little team meeting, a little Stark meeting.
Yes.
And, it was... That was a nice moment, because I was so confused. I'm like, Arya, they're putting Arya on trial. What's going to happen? Like, this is so strange. And then, like, how do you plead? Lord Baelish. It's like, whoa!
And his reaction was... No, but...
His reaction's so funny. It's good.
No, but even
gifts for days.
But even before that little smirk he had when Arya
like,
came in. Like, I was like, this is working out perfectly.
Yeah,
perfectly.
So that one moment was satisfying. The rest of the scene to me was not that satisfying. I don't know why.
No, I loved it only because I called it, but then you could just see how much of a squirmy little worm he is, because he tried every little trick in the book to get out of it, because he knew, all right, I'm in a corner here. How am I getting Sansa? Can we talk alone? Oh no, that didn't work. Hey guys, bring her back to the Vale. Oh no, that didn't work. Let me explain. He tried every trick in the book to try to get out of it, because he knew he was in a corner.
Yeah.
So I actually enjoyed it, because that's exactly how little worms like that would play it out. He'd be like, I'm gonna try everything. I don't care what it looks like at this point, because I know my life's on the line. So I love the way he played out.
So okay, fine, but. I'm sad to see him go. I just love him.
Not me.
Hopefully, at least Arya will take his face, and then we at least get to hear his voice again. I just love him.
It'd be funny if they do a cold opening like with Peter for season 8, like they kind of did with Walter Frey.
But yeah, we'll be like, oh, hi Arya.
But
some people don't. We're not sure though. I was saying I'm not sure if Peter is the best way for Arya to get close to Cersei, because he betrayed her, so like I don't even know if that would really help her. So people are kind of wondering if it's even worth it for Arya to take his face.
Hey, it could come in handy. You never know.
Well, it could, but I'm just trying to figure out what that scene would look like if she were to wear his face. Like, what would go down? But
Peter could try to show up to Cersei as a friend, like
I'm pretty sure she wants.
So I have info on Dany.
Sure, yeah. Hey, maybe. Okay. Yeah. Anyway,
but
I hope she does take his face.
It was just so satisfying to see him squirm and then just because
she did it so fast too. She's like,
yeah. And it was just like we now we actually see like that sword come into that little dagger come into play.
Dagger. Yeah. I was wondering what was going to happen with that, and it didn't disappoint. So this sort of leads me to sort of a projection about season 8. And things in Winterfell seem to be going swimmingly now. Now Peter's gone, Arya and Sansa are getting along, Bran's there, everything seems to be going nicely. there has to be some sort of drama that remains there, I feel, from a writer's perspective and just as a viewer. That's kind of what I want to see. Yeah. So I'm thinking, they did get wind that Jon bent the knee. Yes. And I sort of wonder what that is going to be like, because Sansa has really, really done a great job. And I think everybody at Winterfell knows that. All the houses, all their bannermen, I think, are really starting to warm up to her and the good job that she's doing, especially now that she's killed Peter. I think they might see that she's a very capable leader. And now when Jon comes back and says, oh, actually, I bent the knee, that might actually cause some contention.
Oh, I definitely think it's going to, because everybody is going to end up in Winterfell at some point. So I think, kind of what you said is that the lords may not be happy to know that Jon has bent the knee, even though Daenerys, like she said later on, I'm coming to save the North. So
yeah, and I wonder how Arya's going to feel about that too. Is Arya going to be mad and feel betrayed that Jon did that? I wonder.
I don't think so. I think because the way everything is for her is very black and white. So if she can see, that makes sense.
Well, that's what I mean though. If it is black and white, she might see it as a betrayal and that there's no other nuance to it.
Because she loves Jon.
Not in a way that's like gonna pit them against each other, but in a way that might make her leave Winterfell. Maybe that's the moment where she's like, okay, fuck this, I'm gonna go kill Cersei now.
Well, but I think also
I don't want to hang out here anymore.
More drama will happen once everybody finds out what we found out. Well, we already knew what.
Why is Bran's just kind of like sitting by the fire? It's like, tell somebody who's not Sam. Like, you could send a raven before it's too late. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. He's playing it close to the vest. He's like, I know things.
That was so great though during the the trial of Peter, where he's like, none of you were there, none of you were in the room, none of you saw what was going on, and then there's a rack focus to Bran in the background, and Bran's like, you held a knife to his throat, and then you said that he shouldn't trust you.
Yeah,
I actually was there. I saw that.
Like, damn it!
Peter's like,
this little boy.
Yeah, so
should have killed you with my dagger when I had a chance.
Bran's killing it. I was a little off-put by his sort of robotic demeanor, but now I really kind of love Bran. I think he's great.
I mean, he said, he's like, I'm the Three-Eyed Raven. I'm not really, he's picking his spots where he can interject. Mm-hmm. Because he knows a lot, and we'll see that he has the ability just to pop in wherever he wants. So I think he's just picking and choosing his spots on where. Because just like with that dagger, he knew exactly that we'd probably end up at that point with that dagger killing Peter. So especially the way he was looking at it when Peter first gave it to him,
he's like, oh, this is the one. This is the dagger. Yeah. Okay, I gotta give this to Arya because she's gotta kill him. Yeah. Okay, let's pop over to Dragonstone now, where our team is debating their next move. It seems like they're planning to sort of almost split up and then meet at White Harbor and then take the King's Road up to Winterfell. So they are on their way to Winterfell. And Jorah is still trying to get a word in. Poor Jorah, friend zone Jorah,
pretty much
is saying that, no, Dany, you can't ride on the King's Road, or you can't go with them. That doesn't make any sense. People will see you, they'll see your silver hair and they'll kill you. Yeah. And in my head, I'm thinking just put her wig on her. You could suggest that.
Put her in one of those carriages or something. No one needs to see her.
Yeah. So anyway, but of course she doesn't want to listen to that reason. She wants to go with Jon.
Yeah, because as soon as Jada said we could just sail up there, and she's like,
you and me together on a boat.
And she's like, yeah, and then you can see her yes, that's what we'll do. And she kind of softened again, yeah.
Jorah's like, poor Jorah.
We'll be on a boat for a while. Oh yeah.
Okay. I guess we have to talk about that. We'll talk about it later.
Why is it bothering you
so at the end of this scene, we get they're leaving the throne, or they're walking through the throne room, and Theon stops Jon and says, "I gotta talk to you." And they have a little conversation, and Jon obviously still does not like Theon for what he did to the family. But Theon is really, bless his little heart, he's really trying to make amends and wishes that he was a better person. He wishes he was brave. He wants to be brave. He wants to be like Jon. He wants to be like his sister Yara, and he just can't do it, the poor guy. So he pulls Jon aside and sort of asks him, or says you always do the right thing. How do you do that? I want to do that. And Jon's like,
even Jon admits, I don't always do the right thing. It may seem that way from the outside, but Jon, as we know, has almost every major decision he's made from from season 1 to now has been not easy for him.
Yeah,
he's made the wrong choices.
Killed a lot of people along the way too. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like sometimes even the decisions that you think are right end up being wrong, and sometimes the decision that end up being wrong may necessarily be right.
Yeah.
At the time, so he says you don't have to be a Greyjoy or a Stark. You're both. Like you're trying to decide. Like I have to be one or the other.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yay!
Like
I have an identity now.
You can take the best parts of being a Stark and the best parts of being a Greyjoy, and then that's who you are, because that's basically who he is. He just tried to think like, no, I have to be one or the other. Mm-hmm. Like, no, you were raised as both, so be both.
Yeah. So that was nice, and I think that pumped Theon up a little bit, because the very next scene that we get is him approaching his crew on the beach. They're about to leave, and says, "No, we have to do it for Yara. We have to go save Yara. We have to go." And the guy's like, "Oh, fuck off.
Let's just go to an island and chill for a bit."
Yeah, and then punches him,
out.
spits in his face, and then punches him. And I guess he kind of deserved it for letting Yara, basically die. We don't think that she's dead yet.
No, she's not dead.
I don't think she is.
No.
But so he's like beating the crap out of Theon, and like you would think that Reek would come back like right away, like just like PTSD, that you think he would just go running for the hills as soon as he gets injured in any way, as soon as he sees blood, as soon as someone comes at him wanting to hurt him.
I think maybe that conversation with Jon kind of,
And it did, yeah, and it was nice because it gave him a little fire under his butt.
Yeah, because like before he would just like
yeah, he would have
lay down,
curled up on the
lay down,
like,
don't get back up. He probably would have been like, all right, I won't get back up.
Yeah, he's like, okay.
And now he found.
But he did. He kept getting back up, and he kept getting punched in the face, and it didn't look good. And I was like, is this how he's gonna go out? I'm like, no, they can't kill him this way. And then, there's like a moment where you're like worried and it's going to be the final blow, and the guy kicks him in the nuts.
Couple times.
And then he kicks him in the nuts again. He's like, why isn't this working? And then he keeps kicking him, and Theon's just like,
yeah. And we all know why it doesn't.
Balls!
Like, there's nothing down there.
Which, by the way, writing-wise, is the best planting and payoff in the whole series. I mean, he got his dick lopped off seasons ago, and now it's like actually doing him a favor. It's just, I was dying. I thought that was like the best.
Yeah,
I was laughing so hard.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially that look he gave, like, yeah.
So, he metaphorically...
Turn it around for me.
Metaphorically, that's the moment where he gets his balls back.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Which is great. And so, he knocks the guy out, and then, and then he, like, walks to the water. I'm like, oh, bye. Oh, it's that way, Theon. It's like, bye.
Hey,
but, he sort of collapses, and, the Ironborn are very into this water rebirth, this, like, water ritual stuff, and he, cleanses his face, and I think that's his veritable rebirth, almost, as a leader again, as the Greyjoy side of him, the strong side of him.
Because he had to earn that respect back. Because like the men are always fickle. Like whoever's the strongest will
yeah,
follow.
And he has to earn that respect back from Yara too, because
Absolutely.
Yara went to go save him, and he was too afraid. They're like, "Come on, Theon, let's go," and he's like, "No, not Theon, Reek." And Yara's face. Oh, that was so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That episode was sad. Anyway, so now he's trying to make amends for that, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if he's going to make it out alive, but I...
Probably not, but I think he will redeem himself in his sister's eyes before he or she goes.
Which will be nice. That's all I can ask for is redemption for a character like that.
And I mean, and he's gone through enough, guys. I mean, like, come on. The guy lost his cock, he lost his balls, got beaten up. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah. Someone when I was watching was like, ooh, yeah, that guy's kneeing him in his open wound. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope it's not still open. Like, Jesus, I hope they sewed that shit up. Anyway, we can talk about something else now. So we talked about Winterfell and how Peter's dead and everything's good up there. Where we will revisit Winterfell one more time, but I do want to talk about King's Landing. Where we see Jaime and some of his generals plotting their move forward.
Yeah.
Or north.
Going to Winterfell.
Yeah. And Cersei walks in and is like, what are you doing?
Like, what are you doing? You don't really think we're
like,
going north, are you?
I can't believe you're such an idiot. Oh my God, Cersei. And I was kind of relieved because I'm like, okay, thank God she, I was a little confused by her decision before. I was hoping
Yeah.
it was a trick or something was going to happen. And I'm like, okay, good. She doesn't actually mean it.
Yeah, like that part didn't actually surprise me that she's like backing out on a
No,
word.
I was actually glad.
But then Jamie's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, here's where the loyalty thing starts to break apart for him. You know, because he made an oath, a vow. He made a promise to go north.
Yeah.
And Cersei's like, yeah, but I'm telling you not to. And he's like,
yeah, absolutely.
No, I said I would. You know, so he's being torn in a couple different directions. And he's still like, why don't you get it? Like, everyone's going to die. We have to help. Yeah. This isn't a matter of
it's
like
like you said, like they're
anymore.
going to fight up there.
Yeah.
One of them is going to win.
Yeah.
Whoever wins
is going
to come down south and kill us all. If the dead win, they'll kill us all. Yeah. If Jon or Daenerys win, they'll come and kill us all. We can't win. Why don't you understand that we have to find some way of selling this, not the traditional way? Mm-hmm. And she just doesn't get it. And it's tearing him up inside because he is 100% behind her. Even though he doesn't want to be, but his loyalty keeps him there. Even though...
Anymore.
Well, yeah, but like, just... Yeah. His loyalty has been tested this entire time.
Yeah.
With her, and they've been going through this back and forth, even with Lady Olenna and the secret meeting with Bronn and Tyrion and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They've been, like, his loyalty has been tested, and he just continues to like, no, I'm loyal to you. But once he realizes that she isn't loyal to him, and then it goes back to what Brianna said, like, fuck loyalty. Yeah.
Well, you know, so this is actually the moment that I was talking about that made me really happy because this is what I've been wanting. I'm not fully there yet, but Jaime's arc has been one of the most interesting ones to me, and one of the ones that I've been fighting for since we started to see a little soft side of him. Several seasons, like I don't know, season 3
maybe. He got his hand cut off.
Yeah, and finally he walks out and he leaves because, and you know, I wish it wasn't a death threat that did it. I wish that he sort of came to this conclusion on his own that his sister was insane and that he should peace out.
No, but I think
it took a death threat for him to leave.
No, I think he was. But no, but once he realized that she was conspiring with Euron, like to go get the Golden Company with 20,000 men and elephants and stuff. And if we actually see elephants, that'll be interesting. But I think it was at that point he's like, you know what? I've been 100% loyal to you, and then this is what I get in return. I think at that point he was out.
I think it was as soon as the mountain started to draw his sword.
No, but he pretty much made that decision anyway. It's just like, you know,
I think he was gonna walk off and like seethe for a while prior to being threatened.
No, I think he was done because she's like, don't walk away from me.
I don't think so. He would have stayed unless she didn't. If she threatened to kill him, and then he's like, no, okay, I'm gonna go. I think he still would have stayed, even if.
No, I
the Euron thing. Really? I don't know. I think he's, like you said, loyal. So yeah. I think the only thing that tore him apart was the death threat. You know, that's when he's like, okay.
But like, think about it. It's like I'm 100% so loyal to you, and then if I find out that you're, going behind my back.
No, but she does shit like that all the time.
Yeah, but not to him though. Not to him.
Yeah, she's been dragging him under the bus this whole time, and he knows it. Yeah, and we all know it.
There's blaming him for things, but then there's like that's betrayal right there.
No,
like I'm the leader of the army. It's us against them. And then you're conspiring with this scoundrel that we both can't stand his guts. He's a loose cannon.
Scoundrel.
Yeah, he's a scoundrel. Like that was pretty much where he said like, enough is enough. Fuck loyalty, I'm out.
Well, he pieces out, and I'm like, yes, finally, yay! So this is a really interesting moment. He, which is a little bit funny. He's riding, and it's getting a little cold, so he pulls a glove over his golden hand, which, I thought was just a little silly. But it's a telling character moment, first of all, because he's still not there yet. He's still very self-conscious about the hand. He doesn't need to put a glove on the hand. It's not a real hand. Like, doesn't get cold. I think he's just sort of like trying to find this normalcy still and trying to hide the fact that he's a broken man.
Yeah.
And so that was a interesting telling character moment. And the fact that they placed the emphasis on the hand leads me to this other fan theory that I wanted to talk about, which I can't remember if we mentioned it on here yet, but there's this prophecy of the prince who is promised, prince or princess, which we were reminded of at the beginning of this season. from Melisandre talking to Dany about the prince or the princess that was promised, right? And everyone's like, oh, is it Daenerys? Is it Jon? Is it both? Who is it? There's a fan theory that it's Jaime. And let me explain the basis behind this prince who's promised, right? So there was one, thousands of years ago when the White Walkers were first defeated and pushed back. And this prince who was promised could only forge the sword that could kill the White Walkers by killing his lover. And that's the only thing that made the sword strong enough. Okay, so there's that, right? So everybody thinks that there's this sword, this magical sword. It's called Lightbringer, right? And it's supposed to be like a fire sword or whatever. I gotta brush up on this, but just bear with me here.
I'm listening.
Apparently, and this is something that you get from the books, is the word for sword is very close to the word for hand in Valyrian.
Okay.
And the word for fire or light is very close to the word for gold. I think I have that right. So it might not be a fire sword, it might be a golden hand. And there could be a mistranslation. And we know from Melisandre saying, actually, the translation might not be correct for prince or princess. So some people are saying, and there are theories that Jaime's going to kill Cersei.
Well, which is what you've been saying.
Yeah. So there's that fan theory that's floating out there. And the more, they're kind of playing with it, the more that maybe, because I think he's going to run into Melisandre on his way. And she's going to be like, oh, it's you,
Maybe, but I'm that theory I'm not necessarily on board with. I'm slowly getting on board with the fact that he might kill her. Mm-hmm. Especially considering that now he has had this betrayal with her. Mm-hmm. But something else would have to happen for him to get there. Like, if they were to meet up again as things stand now, he couldn't do it. Just like how she couldn't kill him, even though she wanted to.
Yeah.
She was like,
no, I think, there's several
can't do it.
There's several, we have much more Jaime moments. He's going to run into Brienne. He might run into Melisandre. Like, some things are going to happen in his psyche. It
wouldn't surprise me if they hooked up.
I'm telling you, I've been shipping them. I've told you this, and you're like, no, never going to happen.
Well, I didn't. Well, but now, things have changed now. He's butthurt now.
That one I think I'm right about. I'm totally shipping Brienne and Jaime. I know I'm not the only one. Anyway. Okay, so that's that fan theory. I just wanted to throw that out there that now that's on the table, that Jaime might be the one to broker a peace with the White Walkers.
I'm not on board, but okay.
I kind of want it to happen because I love Jaime. Okay, so what else do we have to talk about? Oh, winter. So the snowflake falls on his glove, and then we see King's Landing, and it's like covered in snow.
Yeah, winter's here. Who knows how long it'll last?
Yeah. Well, in the last one, didn't they say it was like 1,000 years or something like that? Like generations lived and died without seeing the sun or something like
ridiculous like that.
Anyway, okay, so now we get to the scene that I don't like. We pop back up to Winterfell, okay, and Bran is sitting by the fire, and Sam comes in, and they're all buddies, and he's like, you're a good guy. He's like, great. And Bran says, Jon needs to know, in his cryptic little way. It sounds like, know what? It's like, he's the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. And Sam's like, what? Really? That's crazy, because I just read in this scroll that his marriage was annulled. Oh my God, that makes him the rightful heir! Ah!
So Bran's pretty much like, his last name shouldn't be Snow, it should be Sand.
Yeah.
And then he's like, why don't you?
And Sam's like, wait, actually no, because they got married before they had him, so he wasn't a bastard at all.
He's like, why don't you use your powers there and
go check it out.
See if it's true.
Yes, and of course, a lot of women and men are disappointed in Rhaegar's sex appeal.
I'm not disappointed.
He's supposed to be incredibly sexy, and instead he's just Viserys 2.0.
Beauty's an eye of the beholder. I don't care. Who cares?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I care. No, I'm kidding. And I didn't really care that much.
It's fine.
But I think that's a funny thing for people to get upset about. So yeah, we see Rhaegar, we see Lyanna. And then we find out his real name, which is Aegon Targaryen, which that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yes. But just felt like they make sure they spelled it out, point by point.
Well, that was a little underwhelming for me because I already knew that. We all already knew that.
Yes and no. I think people understand that they are related, but they didn't quite understand how. So I think they just, because I've talked to people who weren't 100% sure before this episode how they were related.
What?
Yeah. who watch the
They're
show.
clearly not paying attention.
But because not everybody is so like people just watch the show and then unless you're really
doing
really
it wrong.
well, unless or don't read the books or not really paying attention. So they made 100% sure that this is how they're related. They are aunt and nephew. That's
and of course for some weird reason they decide to there's like cross cutting between that and the sex scene. Which I'm kind of like, do they really have to do? And it's so funny because Bran's just like, he has to know. We have to tell him. Someone has to tell him. It's like, before it's too late. He's, like, he's gonna fuck his aunt.
But he didn't. But he didn't know. See, this is the thing that I don't understand. Why are people so fixated on like they're related? They don't know that.
It doesn't matter.
But it does matter. How if it's just like if you meet your long lost aunt or cousin or whatever, and something happens, you didn't know. It's not like you.
So you would be totally fine with it if you had sex.
No,
with
I'm not. No, I'm not saying that.
Yes,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they don't know. You can't hold it against them.
They will know eventually, though.
Yeah,
and I think,
and then that will be an issue at that point. And then now it is not. So I don't blame them, and I think it's kind of like we said. He needs to know. Because I can see what's going on, like, and that is going to change their dynamic.
Why hasn't Bran, like, he's known this for a while now. Like, why hasn't he sent a Raven or...
Well, again, I think Bran is like I said, he's playing this... He's playing a game, too, I think, to a certain degree. He's picking and choosing what information he gives out and who he gives out to.
I know. It's true.
So
you gotta be
he
careful
thinks
with that.
there's a reason why he's telling Sam and Samuel, and we won't find out until season 8, how Sam and him or it's pretty much Sam's going to deliver this information. Bran's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why he's going to deliver this message. So how he's going to deliver it and how everybody reacts to it is what we're going to find out. But again, I can't hold it against them. Because, like, dude, they were building up to it. For it not to happen would have made absolutely no sense. That you can see their chemistry. You can see it building up to that point. For it not to happen just because we know they're related, even though they don't know, is stupid. It's really stupid.
I would have preferred that they find out right beforehand, and they're like, "Oh, thank God we didn't have sex." That would have been better, way better.
Well, I mean, for us, but not for them.
I don't care about them. This is a television show.
But the characters again don't know, and so that's why it's okay for them to do it. I don't want to hear any more of like they're related. They don't know it. Okay, that's the end of that. They don't know it. We know it.
It's still gross.
You can think it's gross, but you can't like be angry at them for having sex.
I'm not. I didn't say
some people
angry.
are.
I'm not. I can't be angry at
them.
them.
Don't fuck your aunt. What are you
doing? It's just gross.
It is gross, but like, do you blame the guy? Like, who wouldn't want to have sex?
Oh my gosh! What if she gets pregnant and then they have a dragon bait? What if she gives birth to a dragon egg?
Well, I don't know because it's just like what he said. Like she's like, I can't have any kids. Like, do you really know that? Let's test this theory.
I really want her to give birth to a dragon. I just think that would be amazing.
Well, I mean,
it's like a little.
But let's talk about like Tyrion outside the door, like, with this ominous like, what the fuck did I do? Because I don't like. What is this union gonna bring? Is this gonna change her?
Well, because she's listening to Jon, she's not listening to Tyrion anymore. Yeah. She never listened to Tyrion. Well, she did once, and that was it.
Well, she kind of listened with the fact that the whole meeting up thing. She listened to that.
Yeah.
But I think that's him.
Tyrion's losing his grasp on her, and as a hand, and you don't want to get involved like in the middle of a war, or you don't
want to get involved what they're doing. But a lot of people think like, oh, he's conspiring against them, and I don't think so. I just think that's him being concerned that like, what is this union going to do to the dynamic of everything? Also,
though, we like you said, and you don't necessarily sign on to this, but we don't know what happened in the room with Tyrion and Cersei after we left that scene, after the whole "you're pregnant" thing. We don't know, and I don't think Tyrion's trying to betray Daenerys, but it's possible that in order to save her, or in order to save us all, that they came to some kind of truce, and maybe it has something to do with, the potential child that Daenerys might have. I don't know. I haven't fully fledged that out. But, there's a reason Tyrion was standing there, and it's not just because he's lonely, he's the third Targaryen that's not getting any love. So.
He could have went to one of those four houses before they left. You don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I probably wouldn't be in the mood if I were him.
I think he's always in the mood.
I don't know. Anyway, okay, I don't think we have to talk about that anymore. It was just a weirdly constructed scene for me, though, just the way that there was the voiceover at the same time, you know? Like, I would have felt a little better about it if they had separated those two scenes.
No, but
a little buffer in between.
I kind of like it how it happened at the same time, only because it kind of plays in the fact he needs to know this because what's happening with them now, that information is going to change what's happening to them now. So I actually like the way they did that because it does change things. It does.
Okay, yeah, and he's the rightful heir of the Seven Kingdoms. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. Yeah, John should be sitting on the Iron Throne.
He's not going to like hearing that, and neither is Danny either.
You're not going to believe it either.
Well, true. I mean,
not right away.
But Danny's going to be like, what the fuck? I think she's going to be more mad that he's the rightful heir than I fucked my nephew.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't want to talk about that anymore. That's the Eastwatch though. We end the episode Eastwatch, and the wall comes down, and we get to see an ice dragon
with ice flame.
Ice flame, yeah, which I think is more of like a magical flame than it is fire or ice.
Not sure what it was.
Yeah, because it wasn't melting the ice, but it also wasn't ice. Magic flames.
That's fine. You know.
Looks pretty cool though, and I must say kudos to the sound designer because Viserions sound terrifying. It was like this, like this high pitched, like I'm like he doesn't sound so hot. Like,
well, he's
pun
dead.
Intended. Pun intended. No, he doesn't sound so hot.
Yeah, but he's dead. He can't sound the same way he did when he was alive. So
duh. I'm saying they did an amazing job.
I concur. I agree.
I think he's kind of it's a terrifying shriek, and I thought they did a really good job. So that was cool. The wall comes down. We don't know if Torben's alive.
I'm okay.
I'm pretty sure he is. I feel like they would have given him a bit more of a meaningful death.
Yeah, because somebody's got to warn them. Like, the wall's down.
Well, Bran saw it. He was warged into a raven at that time.
But who? Hey, we can't rely on Bran to
tell anybody anything.
Hey, I saw that. We should do something. He might decide later on at some point, but you can't rely on him to give that information.
True. Okay, so that was it. That was our season finale.
But I do like the fact that the last shot is kind of a mirror of the first, not necessarily the first shot we got from the first episode of this season, where we saw the army coming this way, and then the last shot is them going the same direction. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like what I was saying before, that is Bran knew that this was going to happen.
Yeah,
he knew it.
Also,
again, didn't tell anybody about it.
Also, if we're talking fan theories, a few other people have come up to me and said that the Night King looks a lot like Bran this season, and I kind of agree. I'm kind of like, I can kind of see it. Well, so there's the theory that Bran's the Night King, which we talked about last episode.
Especially in the last episode, not this one, the last one. He definitely looks a little bit different. So I don't know what that's gonna mean.
I think season 8 we're gonna get because we still don't have a motivation for the White Walkers, and they have to give us that. We're gonna see a lot more flashbacks. We're gonna understand exactly why, we sort of got that flashback as to how they were made and sort of why, but there's a lot of other cloudy issues as to why are they trying to kill living people, what's going on. So we're going to get a lot of that.
Maybe they just want to see the world burn, just like
the Joker
in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so next season we're going to get a lot of, that's the end. I don't know. We're going to get a lot of stuff that's going to wrap up. So
6 more episodes. Just 6.
Long ones, but okay. So how did you rate this one?
So basically for me, this is the best episode of the series. For me. Only because not for the amount of information we got in it, for that dragon pit scene, because that's the first and maybe last time we see all those characters in one spot. Those kind of moments for me, and especially the dragon burning down the wall at the end, like all those things for me, this is the best episode of the series. I know like Battle of the Bastards and Blackwater, those all are great, but for me, this is the best episode of the series so far.
Okay, so
10.
10. Wow, 10. And the scale goes up. Well, the scale goes to 11, right? I think the scale goes to 11.
If it calls for it, but for now, this is a 10.
Okay.
For me, hands down.
Okay. I didn't like this one as much as I liked other ones, just because, and this is more of a me thing, just because it's so weird and fan fiction-y to start seeing everything tie together, and I'm following so tightly and so adamantly all these fan theories that I kind of saw a lot of the stuff coming already, and nothing really surprised me, and so I was a little underwhelmed by everything. That's not necessarily the writing or anything else. I mean, they have to tie stuff up at some point. So I don't know. There's something about it that felt a little rushed, and it felt a little forced in this episode for me. So I'm gonna give it an 8.
I hear you, but and I do feel also heard that people like this season's been so rushed. But for me, I look at it from the opposite way of it, is that the reason I love this season so much is because in past seasons we would get like 4 or 5 episodes of people traveling.
Yeah, I mean it's a meandering series in general, and now finally things are happening.
But it's still, the show still works in this little sped up fat season that we got. It still works and it's still great. We didn't get as much action episodes, but we got a lot of information. If you look at like from episode 1 of season 7 to this one, we've gotten a lot of information. A lot of characters have changed perspectives. Like Dany has now seen the Army of the Dead. She's met Cersei. Like a lot of things have happened, so that when we get to season 8 and these 6 long episodes, we won't have to spend as much time learning things, because a lot of that learning we've done in this season, even though it's been done at a faster rate than we're used to, that we can then focus on some more development and action. That what people are like, really, I want more action, I want to see the dragons fight. Well, now you're going to be able to see that because we built up a scenario where that can happen.
I think there's still a lot of information we don't have, though.
Oh, absolutely. But I think this season has, like, we've gotten I would say more information in general in this season than we have in any other ones.
I don't know how true that is.
Well,
but, I don't know. I have to.
I don't know. I mean,
go through and
we'll have to watch it again to see. But
yeah.
but the 7 episodes were all fantastic.
Well, I'm gonna watch. I'm probably going to watch the entire series again.
Me too.
I recommend that everybody do that, because I've seen it several times, but I'm gonna watch it once more because we have to wait so long. But I think a lot of things upon rewatching are going to come to light, and a lot of things are going to start watching the whole thing. There's going to be some dots that are going to be connecting, I think, in my head and a lot of other fans, and so it's going to be really fun to watch a lot of fan theory things come out in the next 2 years, year and a half before we get the next.
It's probably
season.
not going to be until early 2019 or late 2018. So that's what we're looking at. If you think about. Because they haven't started shooting season 8 yet. There's word that they're going to start shooting it in October of this year. So if you think they're going to be shooting for several months, so if the way season 7 worked out, they started shooting in August of 2016, and then it premiered in July of 2017.
Yeah.
So if they start shooting in October.
That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, considering how well the dragons
all
look,
the CGI, yeah.
So if they start shooting in October, then we couldn't get it until maybe.
Yeah, it'll be
November.
They would probably wait until the
January.
Next year.
Yeah, they probably would. We'll see.
That's fine. I don't want it to end. Take all the time you need. I don't want it to end.
Oh, I don't want. I mean, it is going to end, but for me, it's just a matter of just get it right. Like, you don't have to rush it. HBO's behind you. Just take your time. Get these 6 right. And for me, I was having this conversation before. For me, if the last 6 hit anywhere close to how season 7 is, I think for me, Game of Thrones is the best series I've ever watched before. I think it'd be hands down, and I would love to just sit back and watch it, like kind of what you're saying, go through the episodes again, where I can just slowly digest it and enjoy
it's
it.
Nicer.
And let it
it's
marinate.
nicer watching again because you're not worried. Like, wait, what's this person's name? What you already know.
Yes.
And so then you can focus on actually the nuance of the characters and of the web that they're weaving.
The dialogue, the reactions,
the game.
what it means. Yeah, absolutely. Just soak it in, because there's so much information and character development and moments from all the season that you can just sit back and enjoy.
Yes.
And then we're gonna have a lot of time to do that.
Yeah.
So I think what will happen for us, I think we'll actually make another video, just have what our thoughts going forward for maybe what we think is going to happen in season 8 as well.
Cool. Yeah. So I recommend everybody watch the series again. Thanks for joining us here. I'd love to talk about what's going to happen in season 8 now, if you guys have any ideas. So be sure to comment below. And subscribe so we can, hit you guys with some more content, Game of Thrones related and otherwise, because there's still a lot to talk about. So
there's plenty more to talk about. And then there's also other TV shows that we probably want to try to do some recaps for too, as well as the trailer reviews that we're doing and movie reviews that we're doing as well. So look forward to a lot of more content, but we also need you guys' support too. So like, subscribe, comment, do all those things, and let us hear what your theories are, because this show has captivated the imagination of the entire world in a sense. So it's not going to be around forever. So we got to enjoy it while we can. So
true. Alrighty. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. I'm Alex.
I'm Sean, and thank you for sitting through this very long episode, but there was a lot to talk about.
Yes. Now go back and watch it again.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.